Hamburg.
German newspapers are abuzz with news on the G20 summit being hosted this year by the grouping's president for 2017, Germany. A notable highlight was India's economic size. South Africa's President Jacob Zuma was the first to arrive for the summit in Hamburg, a major port city in northern Germany. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will land in Hamburg early morning on Friday, hours before the two-day summit begins. Other top leaders who would participate in the summit include Russian President Vladimir Putin, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Chinese President Xi Jinping, French President Emmanuel Macron and UK PM Theresa May.
Well, the G20 summit is all set to begin in the city of Hamburg, this 800-year-old city, and the focus will be on terror, trade and the issue of climate change.
Migration, sustainable development and global stability would be the other focus areas. The theme of the summit is Shaping an Interconnected World this year. It would be Prime Minister Narendra Modi's fourth G20 appearance, and for India, the prime focus would be on fighting terrorism.
The biggest issue remains terrorism. So that is a subject on which the Prime Minister is going to speak for sure.
The G20 summit this year begins with the leaders' retreat, where the discussion theme is fighting terrorism. This itself shows the importance being accorded to fighting terrorism and the overarching goal of achieving global peace.
In a Facebook post before his departure from India, PM Modi wrote that he is looking forward to engaging leaders from other G20 countries on the vital issues affecting our world today that have a bearing on economic growth, sustainable development and peace and stability. The Prime Minister said the world leaders will review progress on decisions since the Hangzhou summit last year and deliberate on issues of terrorism, climate, sustainable development, growth and trade, digitization, health, employment, migration, women's empowerment and partnership with Africa. The summit will begin on Friday with host German Chancellor Angela Merkel welcoming the world leaders, followed by G20 leaders retreat where the topic of discussion will be fighting terrorism. The first working session will be on global growth and trade, followed by the second session on sustainable development, climate and energy. The world leaders will also attend a musical concert on Friday evening, followed by a dinner for them and their spouses. The second day of the summit will begin with a third working session on partnership with Africa, migration and health, while the fourth working session will be on digitization, women's empowerment and employment. These two will be followed by a closing session on Saturday evening, after which a joint statement by G20 leaders will be issued. Besides the summit engagements, India's focus would be on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 8 bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the G20 summit with leaders of Canada, Japan, the UK, Argentina, Italy, Mexico, Republic of Korea and Vietnam. While no bilateral meeting has been scheduled with Chinese President Xi Jinping, PM will participate in the BRICS leaders meeting. A first would be a meeting between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. The group of 20 is made up of 19 countries and the European Union. The countries are Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, South Korea, Turkey, the UK and the US. Together, they account for around 80% of global GDP, nearly 75% of all global trade, and about 2/3 of the world's population.
When 20 of the top economic powers of the world will meet in this city of Hamburg, they will have plenty to talk about, from terror to trade to climate change. But the question is, will there be a consensus or will there be a face-off? Face-off primarily because these leaders don't have a common opinion about most of the things which impact everyone from New York to New Delhi. With camera person Surendra and engineer Hukum Singh, Siddhant Sibbal, DD News, Hamburg, Germany.
So the big question that we're asking tonight is